right, guys, this is the finish up. We finished cutting the tubs out. The last video you saw. Now, I didn't want to leave it outside. We got a little surface rust, but it is what it is. So, we cut the tubs. Don't mind the dirty trunk. You can sort of see a sneak peek there. All right, we cut the tubs out. As you can sort of see with the camera, there's nothing in there. Hooray. Now the fun begins to put it back, but higher. So, I'm gonna air it out one time so you guys can see what it looks like. No flare with a flare. Now, once I air it out, everybody's gonna say, oh my God, that looks better with no flare. You're probably absolutely right. In some ways, but not 100%. Because you'll see when I air it out. But here we are inside the trunk. Now, as you can see, it's been cut out. That white tube is your sunroof drain. If y'all didn't know, yes, I got some rust down there. I just discovered that recently, but not alarming. But yeah, there is the tub with no liner. And when you air it out, this will go all the way up in there. Now, what stops me is the actual structure of the body. And what I mean by this right now stops me, but you don't want to cut into this anymore. With this cutout, I already gained an inch and a half. So we're going to raise it as best we can so that, you know, it's cambered. So most of the tire goes up and then it still stops on this. But this is the other side. I might not be able to get the camera in there too easily, but the same deal for that side. All right, so now we're gonna go air this thing out real fast and we'll see how it looks. Yeah. I think that's all the way down. Hold up, let me make sure. All right. Now the car is aired out. So we'll start with the no flare side first. Here's your no flare side. Now, this right here gives me the remnants of Will Burgess. He's the guy that shortened spindles. His car is something like this because he does not have flares. And as you can see, it tucks behind this. By the way, if most of you didn't know, this quarter panel is very flimsy once you cut the structure for the wheel tub out. And as you can see, there's a line we made to make the flare work. But this is how it looks with no flare. I'm gonna get these re-lipped to actually make it make sense, but we still have some to cut in here because the flare starts up here on this line, and that's the first line we cut to be safe, but we're gonna trim it higher and then it will match it with the door. Now, if you wanna see how it looks with the flare on, well, there you go. There's the gap, all the fun stuff. So, still some more work to be done, but this is part two. We just cut the tubs out. This is what it's gonna look inside the car. As you can see, the wheel sits on the actual structure, and they got all that clearance in the world. Now, same on this side. Kind of hard to see. I can't fit the camera in there, but you can kind of get an idea. I got more room up there. So this is the side with the gas filling that. But yeah, and for those who think it's not that low, the exhaust is on the ground and the diff is like an inch off the ground. So obviously I know I gotta raise the exhaust, but that's what we got for right now. The next one will be rebuilding. The next video we're gonna do is rebuilding the tubs, and then we're gonna be finalizing the cut and stitch welding and welding it on, and then I gotta sand it smooth and Bondo. So stay tuned for the next one. So we here now. This is the passenger side. This is what it looks like cut out. It's not, this is raw. Ain't been trimmed, ain't been sanded, none of that. This is what it's looking like. Don't mind that. I just gotta clean that up some, because when you're cutting it out, I'll show it in the video. The quarter panel is riveted to this brace, well, the structure brace. Obviously, you see where it goes. It goes way up there, all right? So the tub is riveted right here. All right, it ain't riveted nowhere else. So yeah, this is the side with the gas filling neck. It's out of the way. You know, if you go higher, then you might have some problems. But that's what it looks like. All the way up and over. So I'll have another update once we figure out what we're doing with the sheet metal, because we're gonna go with Liam. And Liam, where's that fender flare at? Liam did it with a truck flare, trailer fender. I mean, it's already a half moon shape. So shout out to Liam. I'll tag him in there. If that don't work, then I'm getting a sheet metal and we're gonna make it work. Tools you will need. Clutch. You'll see this in the video. It's not designed for that, but it gets to work out. So, and then snips if you need it. Hammer. And then as you can see, that's from the structural support. And this is what you take out. You see that's where the spot rivets are. And that's what rivets to that. So, now you know. Cool. So the next one. guys, as you can see, the after effect, we welded we stitch welded. So if you don't know what that means, start here, go here, go here, go here, go here. So that way you're not just running a constant bead, because that will cause the panel to warp, and the last thing you want is this warping under heat. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Yes, it will happen, because I already cut the tub out, as you saw in the previous video. Tub is all gone. I'm gonna get to this in a second. Because all that's gone now, I have the new tub to weld to the body, the actual quarter panel itself. And what will happen is, when you weld, the heat between these two panels will cause this to warp and pull in. Not all the time, but in my case, and Liam, shout out to you because you had this problem, it warped in his case as well. So as he said before, you know, body work's gonna be the most important part. These welds you see is us welding the new tub up higher. No one really shows you the inside view, so I'm gonna show you the inside view, plain as day. It's not done yet. We did this and we ran out of time Friday night. So this right here is the factory body. You know, this is 2 pieces of metal that I found out. So what we're doing is we welded this to the body itself. Then I cut a slit, knocked it over, and then we're gonna run a bead all the way down, clean this up some more because there's a weld here, so we gotta clean this up. And we're gonna run a bead all the way down, fill this in with a piece of metal, weld that in, weld this in, and come up and weld this entire side. This is this quarter panel side, because this is the flare right here. You see gaps of light, so there's still some stitch welds we're gonna run in there to prevent, you know, the main goal is you don't want any gaps, so that way you're not using Bondo to fill holes. I don't know if that's 100% correct, but that's the route that we're doing, because the last thing you want is to get water in here, and I don't drive in the winter, so salt, water, get in here and it rusts the actual quarter panel from the inside out. Now this is galvanized steel. Galvanized, it says does not rust, but to be determined. But we're gonna run a bead, run this bead, and then we still have this half to build. The light's kind of showing it, but we're gonna have this half to build. And then, as you can see, there's the door piece. If you don't know what that is, it's this piece right here, because there's a gap. So we've cut a piece of metal and we filled this in. We still gotta clean it up. As you can see, this is raw. No weld, no grinding, this is all raw. All right, we gotta fill that in, and then down here, fill this in still. And then the door, here's my piece on the door. As you can see, there's a gap. So we're gonna make a little piece of metal and weld that in, seam seal it so it doesn't leak and get in between. And that's how it looks. We followed the natural body line. Now I could have had this tighter, but I wanted the natural door gap, so it looks like it was like that from factory, all the way down. So that's where we're at right now. The next video, I'm probably gonna have this piece of the quarter done, because I already have like 15 minutes of footage. So we're gonna do this one on the next clip for the videos, the next actual video I'm gonna drop. So if you guys are watching this, this is probably like 3 days worth of content that I'm putting together to do one video, because I didn't want to do like 3-minute videos every time and have like 40 million videos on my YouTube. So if you stick around and watch the whole thing, you got the whole process. So as you can see, like I said before, this is the factory body. So when I did air out, it did hit this, but camber, it actually does go this high up into the fender. So I'll give you the wide view of what it looks like, so y'all can have an idea on what it looks like, because not a lot of people video this part. It's the ugly side of doing a high radius and flare. My paint didn't melt, but obviously it more than likely will. But gotta do body work anyway. Sorry guys with that one. See you in the next video.